الله 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 ما لنا مولى سوى الله.
If you walked past this building on the outskirts of the city of Kazan in central Russia, you wouldn't notice anything that would have been going on beneath. It was a three-story building with a small minaret and a tin crescent on top. It was a bit run down, but was otherwise rather unremarkable. But a passerby would not have noticed the 8-story secret complex that had been built underneath. And there it was indeed a dark and an isolated world. 27 children, 38 adults, among those taken out from these catacombs, a extended basement, underground complex, whatever you want to call it. Most of them had been there for a decade without proper heating, without proper light or sanitation, and crucially without any access to the outside world. A few were allowed to go and work at a local market. The rest were kept down there. Among them, the youngest, an 18-month-old child, and a 17-year-old girl who was later found to be pregnant.
What this video is showing is a man in Russia claimed to be a prophet. Waliyadu billah. After claiming prophethood, this complex was where he dwelled with his followers, and he built a complex with underground floors, and he placed children, I think 19 children he stays, and families in this underground complex, telling them it is end of the world. And as you can tell, the followers look Muslim. They have imama and they have beards, and formerly this man must have been a Muslim. But after claiming prophethood, we know that he has become a kafir, a disbeliever, as is mentioned by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that toward the end of times you will have liars who will claim prophethood. But the point of showing this video is how the doomsday scenario can be misused. The fact is that the end of times is approaching, but there are many liars who will use the end of times in order to make their own claims, whether they were Muslim formerly or they are non-Muslim. And this is an example of that individual in Russia, one of the many individuals.
Hello? Yes, I need to report an anonymous tip. Who do I talk to?
Okay. This is regarding what?
This is regarding a mass suicide, and I can give you the address.
The address seemed the unlikeliest of places, a mansion in a quiet, affluent suburb of San Diego.
I have a gagging reflex with smells, so I wanted to take care of that. So I put cologne on my shirt and put my shirt over my nose.
Rio D'Angelo was the first one to discover the bodies and called 911. 21 women and 18 men had taken their own lives.
Must have been a lot to take in.
It was a lot to take in. It was disturbing because I'm yelling for people to see if they're still alive, and I'm also saying goodbye as I walk through.
It may have been a shock, but D'Angelo had an idea of what to expect. He'd been one of them. In his earlier life, Rio D'Angelo had been Richard Ford. After going through a divorce, he felt lost and was looking for a spiritual path.
This is showing a cult in 1997. They were known as the Heaven's Gate cult. And their leader, whose name was Applewhite, he claimed he was Sayyiduna Isa alayhi salam, waliyadu billah, reborn. And there was a woman who was a part of this cult. She claimed to be the father reincarnated, waliyadu billah. And she passed away, and this man carried on his cult. And then when the comet came, Comet Hale-Bopp, in 1997, this man said to his followers that an alien spaceship follows the comet, and we will take our souls, kill ourselves, and our souls will be transported to this spaceship, and we will live a new life on this spaceship. And as they showed in the video, the members, they took applesauce laced with poison, ate it and drank something, and they died, and they placed purple shrouds on the body, and they all wore Nike trainers also, strangely enough, Nike trainers, and they all killed themselves. It's a very famous incident. Apart from the other incidents of Jim Jones in 1979, Jonestown, where he had thousands of 900 or somewhat followers of his, he made them commit mass suicide. This is showing you, the first case was a former Muslim misusing the doomsday scenario, the end of times. The second case was a man, former Christian, misguided. And previous to this, I showed you examples of non-Muslims, people who do not believe in religion, who can misuse end of times and doomsday scenarios.
Finally, it was time for us to get our first glimpse of the teacher himself. Any moment now, Vasarian's going to descend from the stairs and address everyone here. And as you can see, everyone's eagerly anticipating it. I have no doubt in my mind that they believe he is God. And it's interesting and kind of scary to see so many people have so much faith in one man or God. We had traveled thousands of miles to the middle of nowhere in Siberia to see this man, Vasarian, address his congregation on what they call the holiday of good fruits. It was sort of spooky. Vasarian's making his way down now. Very slowly, very Christ-like. And just as Vasarian was about to share some infallible nuggets of wisdom, they made us turn off the camera.
So this is an example of a shaitan that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam warned us regarding in many ahadith, where, for instance, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, and this is the book of Imam Yusuf al-Nabahani rahimahullah ta'ala, from the Sahih of Imam al-Bukhari, لا تقوم الساعة حتى تقتتل فئتان عظيمتان تكون بينهما مقتلة عظيمة دعوتهما واحدة وحتى يبعث الدجالون كذابون قريب من 30 كلهم يزعم أنه رسول الله. That Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the hour will not be established until two major groups will fight, and there will be a major killing amongst them, meaning they will slaughter, a major slaughter amongst them. Their claim will be one, and until the Dajjalun, imposters, liars, will come out close to 30, each one of them claiming he is a messenger of Allah. Now, this is referring to the kadhabin, the liars, who will be initially Muslim, and then they will claim this. Otherwise, the number of non-Muslims who claim prophethood is uncountable. You can go to, well, you shouldn't go to, but you can find out about, for instance, Mexican man who smokes drugs and sells drugs openly, and he claims to be a prophet, and people follow him. He has thousands of followers.